Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 334, season 14. Today's date is June 1st, 2024, and welcome to the show. It's the first day of the month, and I haven't done a podcast in over a week. On today's program, I'm going to talk about the 40th anniversary of the music videos that aired on WFBN-TV Channel 66 in Joliet, Illinois, that part of the Chicagoland area. I'll talk about my memories of that. Also, I'll talk about two record store chains that are long forgotten. One is JR's, not JR's record shops. It could be Junior's record shops. I think it's Junior's. And the other one is Orange's Records and Tapes. I don't think a lot of people remember that. So I am here to provide information as much as I can. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. This program is brought to you by Battling Tops from Ideal Toys. It's a game. I remember this very well. And this is from 1960, late 60s, 1968, 1969, somewhere around there. And once I play that, I'll explain about the game. Okay? So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the show, folks. Thank you.
Now, Ideal's Battling Tops Championship. The contestants are winding their tops, getting into position, and the battle's on. Look at those tops battle for position. Watson's top is down, but it's up again. Anything can happen in battling tops. Valenti's tops are knocked clear out of the arena. Watson's the winner. Champ, what's your secret?
It's in the wrist action.
Battling tops from Ideal, the good game people.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Battling Tops from Ideal Toys. I never had this game. I remember Ideal Toys were a very big company. They were based out of Jamaica, New York. That's a part of Queens, New York City. They had classic game toys. So, like, for example, Kerplunk, Mousetrap, Haunted House, you name it. Tippet. Yeah, that. I never had Battling Tops. No. There was Toss Across. Remember that? That game was introduced in 1968, and they just in the game there were players that launched spinning tops in the arena with the aim to have the final one standing. So that makes sense. And there were 2 to 4 players. And you just wait till you have a string and a hook, and then you just pull, and then they go zzz, all over the place. The original ones were called Hurricane Hank, Twirling Twim, Dizzy Dan, and Smarty Smitty, Super Sam, and Tricky Nicky. There were about 6 different ones, but only four could play the game at once. And then there were other ones that were replaced. Then it was renamed Battling Spaceships around 1977. And when Ideal Toys was sold in 1982, Mark's Toys took over. You remember that? And then it went out of production, and now Mattel has it. I think you can still find it on Amazon or maybe Walmart, Target, that sells that. We'll see. I don't know. But it looked like fun. It really did. I like the box. It looks so cool. Like that when I was a kid. I used to see it at Children's Bargain Town when I was growing up, before it was renamed Toys R Us. And so it looked like a lot of fun. It really did. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the 40th anniversary of the music videos that aired on WFBN-TV Channel 66 in Joliet, Illinois, and also the 2 record store chains, Junior's Record Shops and Orange Records and Tapes. Before I get started, I have a health update. Very important one indeed. Yeah. Uh, this past Wednesday, I went for my blood test. I went there. It's amazing how they get the test results so quickly. Went there because I haven't had an appointment yesterday on Friday to have a medicine called Zomita, and that's for lowering the calcium in my body because it's slightly elevated. Okay, I'll tell you about that in a second. So I went for the blood test and I got the test results. Everything is fine. Even my glucose went down slightly. That's good news. I got to be careful. Got to avoid sweet stuff. I love sweets. I love sweets. So I'll eat whatever I can. Just a little bit. Then everything else was fine, but the calcium was still elevated. My kidney function, it's okay. It's a little concerning, but it's all right. But the good news is the PSA fell dramatically. When I went to my regular doctor, it was about 10 point something. It was like 10 point something. No, 9.9. Excuse me. It was 9.9. And then when I went, and then after I received the radiation, about a couple of months ago, yeah, in mid-April, that did the trick. I went for 5 sessions and then it fell. And it fell up to 5.8. Now, when I took the blood test and I got the test results on Wednesday, very quickly, it fell to 2.08. And it's wonderful. It's good. If it's between 0.0 and 4.0, you're good. So that's good. And I assume it's going to continue. I assume it's going to fall continuously. So that's great news. So we'll see. Anyway, Friday, I went for my first Zomita infusion. It's not an injection. I keep telling people it's an injection. I made a mistake. I apologize. It's I'm hooked up to an IV, and I don't like IVs. Yeah, don't like needles. And the nurse told me that just sit there for 15 minutes. Okay, that was nothing. It was sat in a nice, comfy recliner, and I just sat there, and it went quickly. And she says, "You're done. And your next one is in August, in August 23rd. I said, okay, yeah. And 2 days before, I'm going to go see my oncologist and see what he says. Hopefully, I have a feeling I'll probably take another blood test before I see him, most likely. And we'll see. Maybe the PSA will fall. Maybe the calcium will fall, and we'll see what he says. I think I'm scheduled every 3 months for this. It's called Zomita. So that probably in August, so probably the next one is October. We'll see what happens, but if it's very, very low, this is what the nurse told me, then you don't need you don't need that anymore. You have to. She probably telling me to get vitamin D, for calcium, like over the counter supplements. So far, I'm doing fine. The most common side effects are you feel tired. Well, I'm tired already. Or like you get like flu-like symptoms. Last night I was kind of tired. Like I'm okay now, but also there's your jaw hurts. But that's when you had dental work before. I didn't have any dental work. I went to the dentist about a couple of weeks ago. I'm fine. I had a cleaning. I'm okay. So far it hasn't happened. But it's only 2 days. Maybe down the road something will happen. I don't know. I hope not. Oh, I hope not. I hope I'm okay. So I'm very excited. And then, I posted it on my social media accounts and everything's fine. So that's good news, So the next thing I'm going to do is like June 25th, I'll have a follow-up with the what's that called? Radiologist, oncologist, not the one I want to go now. This is when I had the radiation, and probably either go see her or she'll call. We'll see. I'd rather see her in person, but that's fine. She'll give me a follow-up. So that's the only time. And then July, I'm nothing. Except going to the eye doctor. That don't count. So, And then August 6th, I'll go to the urologist, probably take another blood test again. Maybe I don't have to take the other one. We'll see what he says. So that's good. I need a break. I need a break. It's terrible. It's terrible. I apologize to everyone, because I always talk about me and my health, and I get a couple of remarks from people. Why are you talking about your health? This is Van Chicagoland. First of all, I'm the admin. I like to share my news, to my family, my friends, my followers, and people want to know how I'm feeling. They love the group, the page, the group, the account, that all together. They want to know what's going on with me, and so forth. But I will not talk about it every day. I mean, that's it. I'm done with the health updates for now. I'm okay. Unless something comes up, but I'm okay. So that's good news. Okay. Now let's get started. First off, I'm going to talk about the music videos I used to watch on WFBN-TV Channel 66 in Joliet, Chicago, which later became WGBO. And I'll give you a brief history about that. And here we go. So this premiered on September 18th, 1981. And so the funny thing about this is nothing really aired around that time, but first it aired the Spectrum subscription television service, which went in competition with On TV at Channel 44 and WSNS TV in Chicago. Remember that? And so it was the same thing as On TV, and then, you get a box and, you order and you watch movies, after they were done at the theater, then they were released there, uncut, commercial free. It went very well for a while, but then it didn't work. So they had by the time March 8, 1983, Spectrum had about 60,000 subscribers compared to On TV, which had more than that. And they didn't turn a profit. And, because a lot of people didn't have cable back then. Cable was starting around the early 80s, but that was only in the suburban areas of Chicago. I remember watching like MTV in Oakland. I didn't live there at the time, but I knew a lot of people, and that's where I first watched MTV. The city of Chicago didn't have cable not until the late 80s. It took too long like that. So there were some sales things going on back and forth, people buying and all that. Then on May 31st, 1984, the station debuted consisting of music videos, and that lasted all the way to the summer, like around beginning, I think about Labor Day or even earlier than that. And then so I remember watching this and I was amazed by that. I turned it on, Channel 66, and they played music videos all the time. I couldn't watch music videos. We didn't have YouTube. The internet didn't exist. So if you want to watch music videos, Channel 60 at the time, that was WPRW. It moved from, it was on Channel 60, that moved to Channel 50. They had an hour or in the morning and then sometimes in the afternoon or sometimes at night. It depends. It was called Music Video 60. But the one on Channel 66, that aired all day long, no commercials. They had like a break, like a station identification. And they showed that, and it was called Music 66. And they played a lot of current videos at the time, even older ones, like from the early 80s. Like, for example, there was, from artists like Pat Benatar. Let's see, what else? Men Without Hats, ABC. Also, like Duran Duran, Cyndi Lauper, Billy Idol, all those great 80s artists, the Police, you name it, they played all. So that's great. That really is. And they did that. And I was fascinated. I watched it all the time. And me and my brothers watched it as well. My younger brother, he's a big, huge 80s fan of the videos. He watches that on another channel. And my middle brother, he liked that too. It was great. It was not, back then it was kind of innovative, to watch all that. And I remember the ones like Tina Turner, George Wham featuring George Michael, Boy George, oh, you name it. It was fun to watch. And then it got into, then it became, it was an independent station. Then it turned into, they canceled that and they made it into like a regular syndicated station, like Channel 9 and, Channel 32 and, Channel 44. Like that, and they aired reruns of TV programs and movies. I remember that, and they had a big announcement. They were showing promos all the time, and it's Super 66. They showed that, and they changed the call letters from WFBN to WGBO. They did that, and it was a great station. I liked it, but it aired for about 5 to 10 years, between 5 and 10 years, and then now it's a Spanish station, Spanish speaking. They did that, and so that's kind of a shame because it's like Channel 44, it still is. You have Telemundo, and you have what's the other one? Univision. So Univision is on Channel 66, and Telemundo is on Channel 44. So thank God we got MeTV. We got that. So that's good news. Yeah. The funny thing about it, Channel 26 was also Spanish as well. WCIU. Now it's not Spanish anymore. It hasn't been there since 1995. And I remember the promos of that. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. I remember they brought back the reruns, like the Munsters, Leave It to Beaver. And they brought back Svengoolie, which was great. And then he left the U, and now he's on MeTV. Thank God. I watch him every week. He's still funny. He's a nice man. I talked to him. So he's a Facebook friend. Anyway, so that was my memory of watching. There were other times I watched music videos that were like on their, like Friday night videos at night. I used to watch that, but they had hosts, and I talked about that on a previous podcast episode of that. And there was Rock on Chicago on Channel 7. I haven't talked about that show. Maybe someday. But it was so nice, and watching that at the time, it was so very simple indeed, like that. So you can watch music videos, that is, on YouTube all day, every day. MTV is not what it used to be. Never has been for quite some time. So, but they have MTV Classics and all that, but that's a substation now, sub-channel like that. You can watch and listen. But you have YouTube. If you're in a mood to watch a music video of your favorite artist, singer, go ahead. Just log in. Do a search. You'll find it. Okay. So that's fine. Like that. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I come back, I'm going to talk about the two record stores, those independent record stores, that is, Junior's Record Shops, and also Orange's Records and Tapes. Okay, and then I'll wrap up the show. All right. Okay, so I'll be right back, folks. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. Now we'll talk about those two record stores I mentioned before. One was Junior's Music Shop. I say JR, but it's not JR. That's from Dallas. It's Junior's. I think it's Junior's. Yeah, music shop. To tell you the truth, I don't know when these two stores were founded, where or when. Probably in the mid '80s. But I did visit them. No, I didn't visit Orange's Records and Tapes. I visited Junior's music shop quite a few times. That was located in the Chicago Ridge Mall. I went there. They also had one at Fort City Shopping Center in Chicago, where I used to live at the time. Um, but the one in Chicago Ridge Mall, it was a great store. You know, they had not just records, they had CDs, cassettes, and 8 tracks. No, I don't think so. They also had video. They had a video section, so that's good news. But I found the locations of this record store, so I'm going to read them off to you. Okay. Before I did, they also had in Wisconsin, like for example, in Milwaukee, they had it there. They also had it in Hawaii, and did they have one in Indiana? Yeah, they had it in Indiana too. Okay, but I'm going to read the ones in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. Okay, so there was one in Bloomingdale, Stratford Square, which the mall has closed, a couple of weeks ago. Of course, they had one in Chicago, Fort City Shopping Center. They had one in Chicago Ridge Mall. They also had one in Evergreen Park, and they had 2 levels. Yeah, I didn't know that. Also in Lombard at the Yorktown Shopping Center. Also at North Riverside Park Mall. Also at Woodfield. They had that. So that's great. And that's about it. I'm sure maybe there were more they opened up, but this is from an ad from May 28th, 1989. I don't know when they closed. Probably early 90s, around that time. I'm not sure, but I did visit, but then I stopped going. Maybe because I was working and didn't have time to go visit weekends. But one day I went to the mall and boom, it was gone. I never saw it again. So that's what happens when you frequently visit a establishment. It's not there anymore. You're disappointed. Yeah, you're kind of sad about it. Okay, the next one I have Orange's Records and Tapes. Now this one was similar to that, to Junior's. I'm sure they had compact discs, cassettes, LPs. They sold videos. I believe they did. Also, probably Walkmans at the time. Not like iPods that came later. So it had 6 locations at the time. This was also, I found an ad on May 28th, 1989. I will read them off to you if you remember. One was at Aurora at the Northgate Shopping Center. The other one was in Chicago at the Addison Mall on Addison Street. Also at the Crystal Lake at the Crystal Point Mall. Also at Forest Park at the Forest Park Mall. Also in Rolling Meadows at 1211 Gulf Road. And also at West Dundee at the Spring Hill Fashion Corner. Okay. Like I said before, I don't remember this store really. And it's amazing. I don't know if anyone else has. I haven't talked to anyone. I did post this long time ago on Vash Chicagoland. A lot of people said, I don't remember this place. So I guess it wasn't there. I guess it was there briefly. I don't know where it started, when, or when it closed. So it was probably there for quite a while. And I'm sure maybe there were other stores at the time. Maybe. I don't know. So that's too bad. So, there are other record stores that that have opened from time to time. Of course, like, excuse me, like Rose Records, Coconuts, Discount Records, you name it. Musicland, Sound Warehouse, Sam Goody. There's so many. It's fun. It's like a bookstore. You go to a bookstore, and you browse, and then you do the same thing at a record store. You just browse, look through the LPs, and there were places like you listen in, like Borders bookstore. You want to listen to a sample, which was fun doing that. Our Records, I remember that. I went to the one in Schaumburg. all the time, right near where I used to work in Rolling Meadows. It's record stores still around. They're independent mostly, not chains, not really, but they're thriving in a way, which is great, you know, because people like to hold physical media in their hands. I don't blame them for that. The same thing with DVDs, you know. I mean, you have streaming right now, but streaming is convenient. That's fine, you know. You press a button, boom, boom, boom on your remote, and there it is. But I'd rather have the physical media because I have a collection of TV shows. Also, the same thing with bookstores. I'd rather have a book. Not Kindle, not Nook, just a book. I want to read a book. And over the years, there've been bookstores over the years. Excuse me. Of course, Crocs and Bertanos, Walden Books, B. Dalton, Crown Books, you name it. Most of them are gone. Then Barnes and Nobles came, and Borders is closed, which is a shame. I like that store very much. I really did. But Barnes and Nobles is thriving, and it's very popular. And they just opened a new store in the Lincoln Park area. There used to be another one, but that closed about 2009. I asked my brother because he used to live around that area, and he went there all the time. And I told him, there's a new one. He says, oh, that's cool. That's great. You know, I go to the one either on Orland Park or Oak Brook. You know, I haven't been there in a while. So I love browsing. Bookstores are great. People should read. It's wonderful. It's very relaxing. It really is. You know, go to one guy said a comment, I go to the library. It's not the same thing. You have to find new titles. You know. Yeah, the library's great. But I'm talking about a bookstore. A physical bookstore. So I hope Barnes & Noble's remains successful. And they're going to open about maybe a couple more. I think one in Northbrook, and I don't know where the other one is. I think Skokie? No, I don't remember. So I'm glad. Thank God. I'm so happy. Okay. So that's it for the show. I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the 40th anniversary of the music videos that aired on WFBN-TV Channel 66 in Joliet, Chicago, which now is WGBO. And also the two record store chains no longer exists. Junior's Record Shop and Orange's Records and Tapes. Okay. This podcast will be published. Excuse me. This podcast will be published later on, later today, wherever your podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Amazon Music, and also be there on my blog, www.vanishchicagoland.blog. You can click on that; it'll take you right to it. Also, Spotify, you would find it there. It's always there. Also, it'll be on YouTube again and again and again. People ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where do I find your podcast? But go to YouTube, do a search, type in my name or Vanish Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. You will find it. Click subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. You can listen to that or listen to the previous episodes. Same thing with the apps. You know, tap following. You'll get notifications of the next episode. You know, that's up to you. Okay. Also, be shared on my social media accounts: Facebook, X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Okay. I will probably do another podcast tomorrow. I probably will. We'll see. I got to think of a subject. We'll see about that. But I'm glad I'm back. I'm back doing what I love, doing the podcast and speaking with all you fans. And it's wonderful. And I still get great feedback and responses and suggestions. Do my best. Okay. So this is Pete Costanis, your host of Vanishing Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today is kind of a cloudy, rainy day, cold. Not that cold, but, it's not like the past few days. It was beautiful. I even went walking for a couple of days. That was fun. I'm not going to walk today. No, I'm a little fatigued. We'll see. All right. So here's bye-bye for me, and here's Ray Rayner closing the show saying bye with a little traveling music. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye.